Gators and sports fans, get all your Gator talk, news, analysis, and opinions on the Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning podcast. Find us on your favorite podcast platform or watch us on Facebook Live between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. every weekday. Pod Up, because we are Gator fans. So say it's great to be a Florida Gator.
Good morning and welcome to a Wednesday edition of the program. Glad you folks are along for the ride. It's Pod Up with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Large enough to serve you, small enough to care. It's Wednesday. That means we have JC. We'll also have Wednesday's weekly word with Whit. Trent's back from his cruise on spring break. They started spring practice yesterday. We can talk about that. And a whole lot to talk about when you're in shorts, but it's going to be a long process, as Coach Napier said in his press conference. Gator basketball tonight. If you want to watch it on TV, I think it's at 9 o'clock, or you could head over to the O'Connell Center. The Iona Gales get to see Rick Pitino in one of his $5,000 suits roam the sidelines.
Yeah.
I know a guy who has some $5,000 suits. We're going to head to the Titan MR hotline now. And JC, how many $5,000 suits do you have?
Oh, they're littered throughout the closet, QB. I mean, which one do I pick? QB, 9 o'clock for an NIT game.
I think it's 9 o'clock, right?
I
think it's game 2. I'll look right now.
Okay. Well, look, I think I think the NIT has a purpose. And certainly, I think some folks last night were happy to be playing basketball, and I certainly think that we had some really, really good games last night. We also had the first 4 start, or the first 4 playing games, you could call them, and we had Indiana and Wyoming play in the Dayton Arena, a new arena, by the way, and the Hoosier fans showed up.
It's not a new arena. It's not new.
I thought I read where they did some things to it.
Well, that doesn't mean it's new. They renovated it.
Well, Indiana fans were everywhere. Everywhere. They were everywhere. And so that shows that they believe they were proud of their team for the run they made in the Big Ten tournament. I think it could go without saying that the conference tournaments were, for the most part, meaningless as far as the committee is concerned. I think most of the work was done before Saturday. And I don't know if that's a good thing or bad, but I do think that, for teams like Indiana, it gave them a chance to make this tournament, playing in the conference tournament. For teams like Texas A&M, it really didn't matter unless they won the conference tournament. So now that we know all this stuff, we have a bracket that we all fill out, and we think to ourselves, all right, who's going to do it? Who's going to be the upset winners? Who's going to get to the Final Four, obviously? And I don't want to go too far ahead because I like to take it each day as it comes. I mean, we're already talking about, okay, we've got a Final Four set in our brackets, and you have to do that. And to win a bracket, of course, you have to basically win the tournament, right? You got to pick the winning team. And a lot of times you pick the same winning team as the people in your pool do. So that means you got to win games prior to that, QB. So I'm going to give you guys some tips. I'm going to give you guys 2 tips that you're going to need as you fill out this bracket. I worked extensively on this.
So these tips that you're giving us, you've had this is like your pattern that you use every year that gives you great success when you pick your brackets?
Hey, listen,
I'm just asking.
In my pools, I'm usually in the top 10 there. Big shot.
Okay.
Yes, but I do 3 pools every year. 3. Some just do 1, some just do 2. I don't care. I do 3 because the guy gives me a discount if I do 3 instead of 2. So here we go. The first thing to remember is that in these conference tournaments, you look at teams that maybe bowed out early. We look at Auburn. We look at some other teams. Texas, they didn't do so well. No team, QB, no team in the history of this tournament, no team has won a national championship after going one and done in a conference tournament. So who do we have that's highly seeded that went one and done in their conference tournament? And you might be able to say, well, if that trend continues, I can eliminate them right now. And that would include teams like the Auburn Tigers. That would include teams like the let's go with who else didn't make it in the first?
I don't know. These are your trends.
Well, I'm just saying, look for teams that played in their conference tournament that are highly seeded. The Baylor Bears is another team. And those 2 teams lost in the first game of their conference tournament. So go ahead and just scratch Auburn and Baylor off. That helps you right there. Take a 1 and a 2 out. So if that trend continues. Now, also, I'd like you to know, QB, that last year, in the first round of this tournament, now I don't know if this will happen again, but it did happen last year, 9 double-digit underdogs. So you look at the spreads on all these first round games, which to me starts on Thursday and Friday. 9 double-digit underdogs last year won in the first round, and 4 of them went to the Sweet 16. So you have to go through this bracket and say to yourself, where are my upsets going to be? Because it's going to happen. It invariably always happens. So try to find somebody who might be a double-digit underdog, and you might be able to scoot ahead of your pool because that team could be Magic right now. You know, March Madness, there's a Magic in March, and you might want to see that 4 teams last year that won in the first round that were double-digit underdogs made it all the way to the Sweet 16, which basically
that has nothing to do with this year.
But it does mean that there's usually an upset, and I think
there's going to be upsets, and one of them's going to be the Jackrabbits beating Providence.
Well, okay, so that's a 13 seed beating a 13 seed over a 6. So that would be an upset, but they're not a double-digit underdog. And,
no, they're only it's like a pick 'em, I think.
Right, and one of the games, QB, that really intrigues me is how Arkansas, as a 4, is only a 3-point favorite or a 4-point favorite, I think, over Vermont, who is a 12. Vermont, what is Vermont, QB? Are they
They're the Catamounts.
Catamounts, yeah. So the Catamounts are a slight underdog to the very exciting Arkansas Razorbacks. 2 different contrasting styles, the way they play their games. So many things to look at when you look at this bracket. And I'll just finish this opening statement, QB, with one more thought, and that is watch what UConn does, and watch closely the UConn Huskies, because I have a name for you that could end up here in Gainesville, and that would be one Danny Hurley, the University of Connecticut. I would look at him. He's young. He's very, very energetic. I think he brings an energy that maybe we didn't have here in the last, I don't know how many years. I like that.
But you don't leave UConn to go to Florida to coach basketball.
Well, you know what? There can be reasons why you do. So I think, that Scott Strickland and the university can make that happen if they wanted to. But I think he's a guy you have to look at. He's very young. He's got a lot of emotional tendencies on the court. I think that's what Gator fans need, man. They don't need a statue walking up and down just watching the game. They need somebody who's really into it. And I'm not saying Mike White was that guy. I'm just saying that this guy, Danny Hurley, is animated. He's got a really good team at UConn, I think. This is a team that could definitely upset some folks. They could end up playing Gonzaga in the Sweet 16.
No, UConn is a very good team.
Yes,
they're very, very good. I just don't see. I just
threw that name out there. I mean, I know what you're saying. UConn is a blue blood in college basketball, but guess what, bro? You live in Storrs, Connecticut. And
he's a New Jersey guy. He grew up in New Jersey, so maybe he loves that crap. Where the sun never comes out, snows.
Maybe he wants to taste some of the sunshine, bro. I don't know. I'm saying call him, Scott. You need to call him after the tournament. That's all. And let's face it, QB. Florida didn't tell Georgia to leave us alone when they called to ask for permission to talk to Mike White. So, I mean, Mike White may have not been fired, but the Gators didn't do a whole lot to say he couldn't talk to somebody. Yeah.
Well, most of the time they don't. They allow you to talk to whoever calls. That's how. Okay.
Well, you're under contract. You're owed $8 million.
But here's the thing.
Probably don't want people coaching your coach.
When the coach talks to the athletic director and says, "I'm probably looking elsewhere."
Yeah.
What is the athletic director is going to let you look elsewhere, so then he doesn't have to pay the buyout. All right, we got a text on the Titan Mar text line. It says, "Good morning, fellas. Looks like the old Tigers of Texas Southern ain't so bad after all. They're dancing. They were in the tournament last year. That's what I try to tell people. Johnny Jones is a good basketball coach. He coached at LSU for a long time. They had a kid that's played in the Final Four on their team from the Houston Cougars. So they're a good team. I mean, they're going to get clobbered next game, but
yeah.
that was not a horrible loss as people thought Florida was. The two things I certainly did think I'd see this week: Mike White heading to the state of Georgia and Freddie Freeman leaving it. I know it's a business, but that one hurts. Appreciate the text, Ryan. Yeah, Freddie Freeman no longer a.
That's kind of hard for me to believe, to tell you the truth. I mean, this guy's not young, and he's toward I'd say, the latter part of his career. He could end up his career in Atlanta. The money is basically the same, maybe a little bit more elsewhere, but who cares? I mean, he could be in Atlanta. He could be one of those guys like Derek Jeter, played in one uniform and never left, and instead he wants to go grab a few more dollars. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure I get that. I mean, they brought a World Series to the Atlanta Braves. He leaves. Yeah, that's I don't really like that. QB, who do you got? I mean, tell me what your final 8 is.
My final 4 in my bracket is also you can do we've had a ton of people sign up to do our challenge. There'll be some Spurrier stuff we give away, paraphernalia, what have you, and some other goodies for the winter. But I did 2 of them. I got a ton of upsets like the first couple of rounds. And then one of I got Arizona as the national champ beating Gonzaga. But my final 4 is Gonzaga, Purdue, and Wisconsin and Arizona in this one. I'm telling people now they're going to go pick the same things I picked.
Well, I hate those. I hate that Final Four. I hate it. You got 2 Big Ten.
Well, I mean, I didn't ask you. I did it.
You got 2 Big Ten teams in there, QB.
But those 2 Big Ten teams are pretty damn good. And the way they play with Purdue with two players over 7 feet, they got one that's 7'4" and one that's 7 foot, can give people problems. My other Final 4 is Texas Tech losing to Kentucky and Arizona beating Kansas and Kentucky beating Arizona in that one. But I have a ton of upsets and about every one of them in the first round. I got all kinds of folks losing. I got St. Mary's going to like the Elite Eight, things of that nature. So we'll see.
Boy, I got them losing to Indiana next. I got them losing to Indiana.
I saw 2 teams last night that had no business being in the tournament.
Yeah, well,
Indiana has zero business being in the tournament. I can't figure out how Indiana's in a play-in game and Michigan is sitting at a 10 seed or whatever. Michigan is one of the most overrated basketball teams I've ever seen. I don't know how they're still how they got in this field. It's ridiculous.
You just said Indiana didn't belong in the tournament. Did you mean Michigan?
I don't think they do. I don't think Indiana or Michigan belonged in the tournament.
Or Michigan. Oh, well. Well, listen, I mean, you can make that case, but Indiana, to me, is playing really good basketball right now. Extremely good. They were 1 game from the Big Ten championship in that tournament. I don't know. I think, and 2, when you look at these brackets, man, I need to know where they're playing these games. And so I finally found.
What does that have anything to do with?
I don't know. It just makes me think more.
I've never understood that. It's no different than the gym that they're playing in Salt Lake City compared to the gym in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Yeah, it is. It's 3 time zones.
There's no weather issues. You ain't got to worry about the wind or the snow. The goals are 10 feet high. Yeah. Okay. So Indiana played last night in Dayton. Do you think that's close to Columbus, as close to the state of state of Indiana? Do you think that had any bearing on that game last night?
I think it helped. It did help in the.
What had the bearing on it is, for some reason, the All-American point guard for the Wyoming Cowboys turned it over 12 times. It's almost like he was point shaving.
You're looking at it from the game. Well, they did have some ridiculous turnovers, but man, there's 12,000 Indiana fans there.
That had nothing to do with the game. I mean, when your point guard turns it over 12 times, you got 0 chance, and they were only down 5 late in the game and had a chance to win.
Okay, I'm just saying, as far as for fans and for teams traveling, it does matter. So it does matter. So
Joseph says he's currently flying out to Vegas for the opening rounds of March Madness. He wants you to give him your bets, Jason.
All right. Well, I tell you, Joseph, that's awesome, man. I'm jealous. Good for you. One year I'm going to get off my ass and do that. Biloxi is a lot closer, as is Lake Charles, Louisiana, but and maybe one day Florida will have this opportunity. But, man, good for you going to Vegas. My Final Four is this. It's quite simple. To me, Gonzaga has the easiest path. They got the easiest path out in the West. I think they will beat Texas Tech in the Elite Eight, and I think they will end up playing Kentucky, who will beat UCLA in the Elite Eight. And then I think Kentucky's going to beat them. I don't know. And then in the other side of the bracket, I've got the Vols, man. I am so on the Tennessee Volunteers. I just think they are just gelling at the right time. I've got them beating the Houston Cougars in the Elite Eight, who are going to upset Arizona. And I got Iowa playing Auburn in the Elite Eight, with Iowa. The Hawkeyes is my lone Big Ten team ending up playing Tennessee. So Gonzaga, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Iowa. The QB has 2 Big Ten teams in the Final Four, and I've got 2 SEC teams in the Final Four, folks. So
that's in one of my brackets. I have Tennessee losing to Iowa, I think. I don't know. I just the way Wisconsin is very old. They got a phenomenal player in Johnny Davis. The way they play can really wear you down.
You just said Iowa. You're talking Wisconsin?
I mean Wisconsin, but I have Iowa losing, I think, to Tennessee somewhere. And one of the, I don't know, I lose track.
The only way that can happen is in the Final Four, QB. So you got Iowa and Tennessee in the Final Four like I do? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Well, that's what you just said. Iowa losing to Tennessee. What do you got?
Well, I'm looking at one of them in here. I don't even know. I filled this thing out in literally 2 minutes. Just click, 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 click. Okay.
Yeah, but look at it. If you look at it, you'll know who's playing it.
Jeff says Houston has 2 starters out. Jeff, they've had 2 starters out since like week 1 of the season.
Yeah,
and it's a phenomenal how they keep winning. I mean, they had 2 legitimate, like all-American starters that have been hurt.
Sampson knows what he's doing. He's been here before. I mean, he's a good coach. I just love the way they're playing. I mean, to me, it's more about not what happened during the season, even though that's all the committee seems to care about. To me, is how did they play in their conference tournaments and how did they play at the end of their season? Who's playing well and who's tanking right now? And to me, teams that are having trouble shooting the ball are going to have a hard time in this tournament. That would include the Texas Longhorns. That would include these guys right here, my Red Raiders. That would include teams like Duke, who were blowing people out earlier in the year and just kind of limped home. So, that's just the way I look at things. But for my man going out to Vegas, you got Gonzaga. You've got to stay on them all the way to the Final Four. Their path, I just don't see it that difficult, but it could get tripped up. Maybe Arkansas can do something with them, or UConn. But Kentucky and Tennessee and Iowa, man, go with the teams that are hot, bro. Tennessee is lights out right now, good, and I think they can beat Arizona.
I'm trying to find on here how far I got the Jackrabbits. Oh, I have them in one bracket. I have them beating Iowa in the second round. And then I have Iowa beating them in the second round. But
that makes sense. I agree with that. But what do you think about Villanova? I mean, that's another team. Big.
Oh, you don't want to play Villanova, dude.
No, and so that's a tough draw for Tennessee. Again, should have been the 2 seed. Instead, they get the 3, and they end up playing a team like Villanova. That's
well.
Something.
If Villanova was the 3 seed and Tennessee was the 2 seed, they'd still be playing each other in that round.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're right. 2 does play 3. Good point.
Yeah, 2 does play 3. But Greg says on Facebook Live, what keeps people from entering more than once in the pot up contest? I don't think there's a limit. Enter as many times as you want. I don't care. There's no rules. I think a lot of people, somebody was telling me, our producer who looked at it, a lot of people did 2 brackets. That's fine. We don't care. Go to it. It should be listed. If not, go to the ESPN bracket challenge, type in pot up with Matthews, and it'll pop up. Join, do all that kind of stuff. It took me forever to figure out how to work it, but it usually does on these things. Real quick, JC, let me talk about Ruse Ogre State Farm office. They're a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance option for you and your family. They offer auto, home, life, health insurance, and much more. Just visit them at ogreinsurance.com or give them a call at 352-240-1779. All right, let's switch gears real quick. Gator football cranked up yesterday. There's not much that can come out of, in shorts. Billy Napier had a good little press conference. He talked about all the quarterbacks. Emory's still there. Anthony practiced, didn't have a brace. Jack Miller was there. We're not going to know a dang thing about the quarterback position until whoever runs out of the tunnel on.
How you going to feel? How you going to feel if Emory Jones runs out of that tunnel in September?
Like I told him, you got to trust your court. You got to trust your coach. Apparently, they sat down with him. They liked what they saw, and they asked him to come back. He's graduating. Look, I have no problem. Whatever the coach wants to go with, I still think it's going to be Jack Miller, just because of decision making and the things that I hear Napier talk about. I know if you don't think Anthony Richardson has some talent, you're blind. But talent is not what is it all about at that position. So we'll see. But he said it was a good first day. They're off today. They practice again tomorrow. So we'll talk more as the week goes on there. But there's not a whole lot you can take out of spring football, especially when they're in shorts and helmets. I was on Twitter, and it's so funny to me. The media got to watch, I guess, the first 10, 15 minutes of practice, like individual throwing and stuff. And the quarterbacks were throwing like flat routes and swing routes to the backs. And it's just amazing to me what these people, how they comment. Man, what a great throw that was. And I'm like, it's a 8-yard flat route. It's so funny to me.
I agree with you. That is funny.
Greg says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Melon, he got all liquored up for the baseball game last night, and then it rained out. Well, Greg, you should have got on FloridaGators.com about noon. They canceled that game at noon.
Happy hour would not have started so early, Greg. Gee whiz. Hey, man, I love that about that. Good job, Greg. I mean, we got to bring some atmosphere to this ballpark this year because it's brand new. It's beautiful. People everywhere. Baseball needs emotional crowds. It needs that to thrive. It does.
All right, Gator basketball tonight. It is a 9:00 game against the Idaho Gales.
That's so hard.
If you missed it last night, Vanderbilt. I tell you, that was a heck of a ball game. It was a packed house.
Yeah.
Do you know how close Belmont is to Vanderbilt, JC?
Cross the street, man. I mean,
it's just like right around the corner.
Yeah, it's not far. I'll tell you another thing, man. I still can't help but feel bad for the Texas Aggies. They like to call themselves the Texas Aggies. How they got screwed. Let me just compare them to one team. Let's call Notre Dame a March Madness, a NCAA tournament team. Notre Dame, A&M 22-11, Notre Dame 21-10. A&M 4-9 in quad one, Notre Dame 2-8. A&M 42 in something called net, Notre Dame 53, and A&M beat Notre Dame during the season. And so,
maybe I don't understand it.
Maybe A&M should be in this field. You know what A&M did that hurt them was Virginia Tech winning the ACC tournament. Somebody said that had Virginia Tech lost to Duke, they would not have been in the NCAA tournament, and A&M would have slid in as an 11 seed. But Virginia Tech won, and A&M lost their conference tournament game. So that's how it goes. I don't know. Maybe you're right about that Purdue-Virginia Tech game, but I'm just going with the hot team right now. And I saw a very lackluster Purdue team lose to Iowa. And I like the way Virginia Tech's going right now. So I'm going to stay with Virginia Tech through to the Sweet 16.
Virginia Tech, like I told you, they're coached extremely well. They have 4 starters in their starting 5. 3 transferred from Wofford, 1 from High Point. The other one was recruited to Virginia Tech. And the dude, they're a good basketball team. Andy says on Facebook Live, see what you say think about this, JC, brought to you by Mellon Law.
Okay.
So here's a Mike White replacement. He's the Jerry Stackhouse of the Big Ten, a great pedigree, 13 years with Coach K at Duke. His dad helped get Billy Donovan his job with the Bulls, and he was McDonald's All-American as a player. Chris Collins from Northwestern.
Oh, okay. Well, interesting. Sure. I mean, look, let's get somebody.
I was on a couple of shows yesterday, and they were talking about, you never replace the legend. Think of Ron Zook after Spurrier. Think of Muschamp after Urban. Think of Mike White. I'm just using the Gator example. I'm sure that's all around the country. Can you imagine what John Shire is going to be feeling like next year?
Well, listen, the only thing I would say it's working in his favor is that Coach K basically hired him. So, he's got the Coach K endorsement. That's the only thing. This
right, but I'm just saying, usually, I guess you talk about trends, and I don't have it all in front of me, but around the country, how has that coach that's followed that Hall of Famer done? Mm-hmm. And, man, can you imagine the pressure that kid's going to have on him?
Well, the Louisville coach who replaced Rick Pitino didn't do too badly, but he's not there anymore.
That's the best job open out there right now, in my opinion.
Oh, Louisville? Oh, yeah, I think so. Louisville is a prime job. They had some issues, though, but that's not the school's issue. I don't think it was the school's fault. It was what was going on there. But listen, I like, Mac Jones replaced Tom Brady, didn't do too badly. But as far as coaches are concerned,
but that's just 1 year. We're talking about a span.
I know. It's a very difficult thing to do. And you're right. This guy Shire is going to have his work cut out for everybody. Look, he's coaching at Duke, and that's one of the biggest names in college basketball. And Coach K basically chose him, so he's Coach K's choice. That helps. QB, my biggest upset, if I were going to say I'm picking like I was preaching earlier about upsets, and it's not even an upset because so many of these 7 versus 10 and 6 versus 11 games, if you didn't know who the higher seed was, I mean, it's a guess, right? I mean, I don't know why Ohio State's even in this tournament, but I think Loyola's going to run them out of the building. I think Ohio State's going to get beat by Loyola. I do think Indiana's going to beat St. Mary's, and I do think I know you don't. And I do think that Alabama better be careful with the Rutgers Notre Dame winner tonight. So they're not playing good.
The other teams, as you mentioned, Arkansas better be very careful.
Vermont,
and then another high seed, Wisconsin better be very careful because Colgate has a very good team and they've been in it for like 3 straight years. They could easily upset Wisconsin. I was just trying to look here as well. But yeah, it's going to be wide open. Although the two best teams are Arizona and Gonzaga. And what's interesting about that, and a lot of people may not know much about Arizona, this is year 1 for their new coach, who was an assistant for Mark Few at Gonzaga. And he took the blueprint of all their roster is made up of kids from overseas.
They have 11 different languages.
Yeah. Yeah. But they're damn good. Now, they lost their point guard. I don't know if he's going to be healthy. He had a bad ankle in the first game of the Pac-12 tournament.
I think you'll see him in the Sweet 16. I think you won't see him this weekend if they beat and should beat Wright State or Bryant and then Seton Hall or TCU. And then I bet you he comes back next week. They were actually saying there's a chance he could play, but I think they're going to hold him out. So, I mean, they need him. And they are a very good team. So, I mean, it would be an upset that they don't make it.
They're extremely good. And that coach has done a phenomenal job. He probably should be coach of the year, quite honestly. But JC, let's get to our Peachland Dentistry, Gator Nation's #1 choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte surrounding areas. Our golf picks. It's now time for the Peachland Dentistry picks. I will pat myself on the back. I picked the champ last week.
You did. Winner.
My man, Morgan Wallen. Morgan Wallen from
Morgan Wallen. Yeah.
You know who Morgan Wallen is, JC?
He's a country music singer.
Yeah, but he's got the same hairdo as
the mullet,
as the Australian guy.
Good for Cam Smith.
All right,
dude.
so we're in Innisbrook, which we both have played Copperhead many, many times.
Yeah.
I'll let you go first. Who you picking?
Well, it's a good tournament. Some of these guys they need to win this to get into the field in Augusta. I'm just going to go with some names that I don't want. I'm not going to take any favorites. I'm going to take the first guy. I'm going to take is Jason Kokrak.
You're going to take Kokrak?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm not taking any favorites. I don't think these guys are really playing the big names are getting ready for Augusta.
I'm taking this guy because he is an ATM machine.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how golf works out in Vegas or whatever, but if you could just, he's going to be in the top 20 or top 10 every week. The Norwegian.
Sure.
Victor Hovland.
Yeah, no, I mean, he was somewhat in it this past weekend. Just couldn't quite get to the finish line. I tell you, there was some really good golf played up at TPC. And this Cam Smith, I got to say this about him. The way he handles himself in pressure situations is so unflappable that it really tells me a lot about who he is and how he handles himself. And you found somebody there, QB, because nobody was talking about Cam Smith.
I've always liked him.
I'll give you a lot of credit for that. And because, this guy remember, his family is from Australia. They have been locked down for 2 years because of the insanity of the government of that country. And when they came here and finally got to watch him play golf, if you don't think that put some pressure on him, you're not reading the room very well. But that goes on top of what he was able to accomplish on the tournament in a tournament that went an extra day with a long delay. That was one of the, I think it's understated how impressive Cam Smith is based on what his family's had to go through and based on the fact that they were actually at the tournament. I think that is a great story. If Tim Rosafort were still alive, QB, he would be writing about that right now. And that's a story that we would all want to read because of what we've been through the last 2 years, and especially because of what the poor Australian people have gone through with their ridiculous government. All right, so that's the first thing. The second thing is I love this tournament because of names that you never hear of that are possibly going to win. And I don't think the big names are going to win this thing at Copperhead. So I already picked one guy you hardly ever hear of. The next guy I'm going to take is Kevin Streelman, who played fairly well at TPC this weekend. I've got Kokrak and Streelman so far.
Yeah, I'm going to take Keegan Bradley.
Good pick. Yeah, he played great. He played really well. I mean, he was really good this weekend. So that's a good pick. I like that. Doesn't necessarily mean he's going to play great this weekend, but I think you're on something with him. And then I'm going to go finally with a guy who's won on tour, but who is just so good and consistent. I'm going to go with Kevin Kisner. And even though he's not
the Georgia Bull. You love picking the Georgia Bulldogs.
I don't know why. I don't know why. I do like their golf there. So yeah, give me Mr. Kisner because he just quietly goes about his business and gets the job done. He makes a lot of money on tour, dude. He's one of those money guys too, with an occasional win.
He's the most accurate T-ball driver of the ball on tour. I'll take Alex Noren to round it out.
All right, good player. Yeah. Sweet. I think
sweet. We got a Facebook Live question for you, JC. Brought to you by Metal Law from Johnny. Says, since y'all are doing picks, who do you think wins the FSU Bama softball game tonight?
Well,
it's number 2 against number 3. Although Alabama's probably not number 2 now. They lost 2 out of 3 to LSU.
I saw that, so that's surprising me. Well, look, SEC is the best conference in softball, right? I mean, it's without a question. I don't know. I'll take Alabama. How's that?
I'm going to pick the semis. I don't know where the game's being played. I don't know if it's up at the Rhodes House up in Bama or what, but I'll go with the semis on that just because you picked Bama. There's no reason for me to pick Bama.
Well, it just depends on if FSU. Well, it just depends on if my 6-footer's throwing tonight, right?
Well, she threw in Baton Rouge and they hammered her.
They got on her. Yeah, they did.
But I tell you what, I'll take her any day of the week in the circle.
You better believe it. Yes, she is.
Let me get to this day in sports, brought to you by our good friends at Comfort Temp. Comfort is our business. Peace of mind is our promise. Comfort Temp's now hiring team members of all levels of experience, great culture, and benefits. $1,000 signing bonus for qualified positions. Give them a call, 376-2366. This day in sports, JC. In 2014, at the 55th SEC men's basketball tournament, the Mighty Gators beat the Mighty Wildcats 61-60.
Ooh.
That's brought to you by our good friends at Comfort Temp. JC, I meant to ask you this the other day. It's kind of late, old news, but I screenshot it, and I totally forgot to talk to you about it on, I guess it was Monday.
Yeah.
Let me pull it up real quick. Did you see the house that Lincoln Riley bought in California? Okay, just listen to me. Yeah. He dropped. This thing is like on a cliff.
I know.
Right on the Pacific Ocean, a cliff, one of them out in California. 17.2 million, 13,000 square feet, 7 bedrooms, 12 baths, 5-car garage, an elevator, 7 fireplaces, a movie theater, tennis court, a putting green, sauna and steam room, 600 bottle wine room, and a guest house.
What do you think the taxes will be on that house?
Well, it's funny because when I screenshot it, of course, Lane Kiffin's always on Twitter. So he responded. He goes, "Hey, Coach, what about the state taxes in California?"
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, you talk about extravagant, man.
He probably didn't pay for it though.
Well, I think they gave him. $6 million or something. Anyway, I will tell you that he's likely planning on having a lot of people come to Southern California. That's all I can say.
He'll be entertaining a lot of recruits there.
Well, that's true. And the thing too is that, one good earthquake takes care of that place. So, or one good mudslide, right? God forbid. But that's what happens in California. It is the land of natural disasters, QB. The land of natural disasters. We've got fires. We've got mudslides. We've got earthquakes. It's a lot to be putting up there, man.
All right, before we let you go, how about Kyrie Irving dropping 60 last night, 41 in the first half? It's a shame that guy can't play in his own arena.
It's insanity. It
really is.
This man.
What's crazy, and I think we talked about, I don't know if we did or not, but some of our listeners may not be aware of this. The ACC tournament was held at the Barclays Center where the New Jersey Nets play their home games. Kyrie Irving went and sat in the stands and watched Duke, his alma mater, play in the tournament.
Right.
But he's not allowed to walk in that building and play in a game.
Kevin Durant talked about this, and it's the Brooklyn Nets, and that Kevin Durant talked about this all night long after the game. Forget the game. He only wanted to talk about Kyrie. And one further thing is the New York Mets and the New York Yankees are not going to be able – any unvaccinated player on any of those rosters will not play home baseball games currently.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy. And it's an outdoor – I mean, it's nonsense. All right, Jason, we got to get to Wednesday's weekly word with Whit. All right? We'll talk to you on Friday, my man.
Friday, you got it. See ya.
That's JC. Join us on the Titan More Hotline. Going to take time out, come back, be joined by Trent Whittemore. You're watching and listening to Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, won't back down. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Great Clips, it's gonna be great. Our Gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, South State Bank, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co. Some of our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Adams Rib Company, Doreen Wiebe Realtor, Caldwell Banker, MM Parish, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Aikido America, Style Cuts, Big Mills Cheesesteaks. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit potupwithshane.com and click the advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure you follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Hey y'all, welcome back to another edition of Weekly Word with Whit. Sorry for the hiatus last week. I was enjoying some off time for spring break. If we have any college-age listeners, I hope y'all enjoyed spring break as well. But this week we're back at it with Gator quarterback Kyle Engel. Kyle, great to have you on.
Appreciate it, Trent.
Yeah, so we'll get right into it. Kyle, give me some info. Where are you from? Where'd you go to high school? All that good stuff.
Originally born and raised in South Florida. Grew up down there. Went to St. Thomas.
Yeah, St. Thomas, big time school. Name a couple guys you played with while you were down there.
A couple guys I played with. I was lucky enough to play with a couple guys that are in the league right now. Elijah Moore, he's a rookie. Just finished his rookie season with the Jets. Asante Samuel just finished his rookie season with the Chargers. Nick Benito, he's looking to get drafted this year, are just among some of the good guys that I was fortunate enough to play with.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, what was that one year y'all had the receiver class? I think it was like 4 guys that are all in the league right now, or 4 guys who have all spent time
I think
in
it
the league.
was the 2016 and 2017 class was Trevon Grimes, who played here.
Mm-hmm.
He was a big-time recruit. We had Joshua Palmer, who was not as big of a recruit, but he went to Tennessee, and now he's
with the Chargers.
He's with the Chargers now. He was a 2nd or 3rd round pick, I want to say.
Yeah, he's big time.
Kid Mike Harley, who went to University of Miami. He's coming out this year, I believe.
A lot of production at Miami.
I think he leads the Miami in receptions now. Maybe yards, but I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if there's many high schools out there who can claim, even like schools who, St. Thomas does a little recruiting, I know, but like teams that play a national schedule, like there's teams that play national schedules that don't have that type of production.
It really was unbelievable to play there. Like I said, I was just lucky enough to be a part of it, but it was crazy every day walking down the hallway. Olympic gold medalists, NFL guys, all sorts of different sports, but
yeah,
it was really something special.
Yeah, I feel like every week, I have guys on here, we always talk about high school ball. I know, like, my fondest memories are high school ball. Would you say the same?
Absolutely. It's just so much fun playing with the kids you grew up with.
Yeah.
And just, you go to school with them all day, and then you got practice afterwards, game on Friday night, and you hang out with them Saturday and Sunday. So
yeah.
It definitely was something special.
Yeah, it really is. Any other sports in high school other than football?
I played lacrosse. Was actually, I love that sport. It was awesome.
Lax's life, as they say.
Something like that. They, once again, just kids I grew up with from the time I was in second grade, started playing lacrosse. Played with them travel ball all the way up, and then kind of all knew we were going to go to St. Thomas. And then freshman, sophomore year, won the state championship, and then junior and senior year, we came up short in state finals. It's hard to swallow, but
yeah,
it was definitely a lot of fun.
Those are tough.
Definitely hard to swallow.
Yeah, I got some high school losses. They're not state championships, but I got some high school losses that I'll still, not as bad anymore, but for a couple of years, I'd be thinking about those late at night sometimes.
Look at the videos on YouTube all the time, just reminiscing on that stuff. Think about it all the time. So much fun.
Oh, yeah. Now you're here at UF. What are you studying these days?
I'm studying construction management. Something I'm really excited about. Not a whole lot in school has always excited me, but construction is definitely something I look forward to when I get out. Moving on my career with that.
I feel like a lot of guys, like, as we go through college, I think the first 2 years you're kind of just like picking your nose. You're taking all sort of classes that really have nothing to do with what you want to do. And then kind of like when we get into our real degree, like it can be interesting. I'm not a huge school guy, but I enjoy myself sometimes in class.
Yeah, no doubt. I think construction is something that I really had no intention of doing until I got here. And I looked at the paper and it was like, construction management's an option. My dad did something similar. So I was like, wow, that'd be pretty cool. And then classes I took, really loved it. So excited about that.
Good stuff. Well, let's go into halftime. We got a couple this or that, yes or no's. Let's get into it. So we got Zaxby's or Chick-fil-A. What you going with?
I'm gonna have to go with Chick-fil-A on
Chick-fil-A.
that one. Chick-fil-A sauce.
I know you're a real big Chick-fil-A guy, but
number one, no pickles.
A day on the golf course or a great day out on the ocean fishing the flats?
That's tough. I like to do both. I usually would say golf, but right now, being in Gainesville, I'm going to definitely have to say out on the water in the flats, fishing a little bit.
Yeah. Last time I played golf with Kyle, guys, was the last time I played golf for a long time. So if that tells you anything about how to swing it.
He always tells me he's done playing, and then I'll get him out there again.
Yeah, that'll happen eventually. I'm on a mean streak, though. Keeping my word lately. Haven't been out there in a while. If you got a lot of money when you're older, are you living at the lake or on the beach?
Like on the beach, like sand is your backyard?
Sand is your backyard, or like a beautiful dock.
That's tough. A lot of people want to live on the beach. Personally, I'd have to say lake on that one, but if you changed it up and said on the intercoastal or the lake, I'd say intercoastal.
Intercoastal's big time. I think like every time I go down to Tampa, the intercoastal that's right there, I'm always like, this would be nice.
It's just, for me, the sand coming inside your house. And at night, you look out back and the ocean's just pitch black. There's nothing to see. So that makes it a little tough.
I'm a lake guy. We got gold medal or Super Bowl ring. And let's say this. Let's say you're the quarterback for a Super Bowl ring, because gold medal is a very personal thing. So
yeah. I'm going to have to go gold medal.
Gold medal.
Every 4 years. Only once every 4 years. I think that's
and it's against the entire world. Football is against the entire world, but
Yeah.
I mean, when you're in the Olympics, it's more worldwide, I would say.
I think you're on a big stage when you're going to the Olympics and it only happens 4 years. I think that'd be very cool. But either one. I mean, I'd take either one. Probably never going to happen, either one of them. But
hey, you never know. I don't know. We're definitely not the next Shaun White. But favorite social media platform? I haven't asked this one.
Favorite social media platform? To be quite honest with you, I'm not a huge fan of all of them.
Yeah, I mean,
I deleted Instagram a couple weeks ago.
Really?
For like a week. It was actually kind of nice. Didn't have to look at it. Just kind of live your life without it. But if I had to pick one, I'd probably pick Twitter, just because it's like news and you can look anything up and find it real quick.
Yeah, Twitter's kind of my news source. Like when I'm on there, I feel like I see like stuff about the war, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I find myself a lot of times, instead of going to Google, look something up, I'll go to Twitter and look it up, and you can find information, videos, all sorts of different stuff on it.
People with funny commentary.
Yeah, exactly.
Your favorite TV show that's out right now? Doesn't have to be out right now, but like...
I'm not a huge TV series guy. I've started a million of them, and I've probably finished one or two.
I'm a bit of the same way.
But right now, I'd have to say Yellowstone. My roommate got me hooked on it. Just finished season 1, about to start season 2.
Yeah, I know. Like over the summer, I was watching that, and I just like go to bed like convincing myself that I was going to be a cowboy.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's definitely puts you in a different mindset.
Yeah. Did you have the cowboy hat on when you were watching last time? Did you go put it on?
Last time I went in my room and put on my cowboy hat. Yeah, I was looking at myself in the mirror.
That's how you get into it.
Yeah,
for sure. Laundry or dishes?
Oof. Don't love either one of them, but I really don't love laundry. I'll do dishes any day of the week. Laundry's not getting done.
How do y'all split dishes at the Yellow House?
Usually we just try to clean them as we use them. Just put them away, whoever uses them. But every once in a while, one of us will just go in there and clean all of them if we're frustrated or if we're in just that type of cleaning mood.
Yeah. All right. We'll get back into some other things. Something I put on my notes here. Both our moms played setter at Florida. One right before the other. I think they played a year together.
I believe they did. Yes.
And they went to the Final Four that year.
I believe they did. Yeah, they did. I think that's something pretty cool. I've always known who Trent was. Didn't always get a chance to meet him, I think, until I got here. I've met Trent's mom a million times before I met him. It was always coming up on those Sunday games after the Memorial Day first football game.
Yeah.
And Trent wasn't there, but I think it's very cool. Proud of my mom. She's a better athlete than I'll ever be. But
I wasn't a top 50 recruit, so I'll have to give my mom a better athlete too.
Yeah.
They're both top 5, I think, on assists all time.
I did not know that, but
I think they are. When I looked it up, it was
really.
I think your mom was right ahead of mine. They were both up there. They're both up there somewhere. My mom actually told me to say on the show that Heidi taught her everything she knows about setting the volleyball.
Really?
So
there you go. I'll have to tell my mom that.
So shout out to Miss Heidi on that one.
It's pretty funny.
The Yellow House. It's been a great place to a lot of guys on the team. That's where Kyle stays with a couple of his buddies. What do you think? How do y'all create that atmosphere that's just like, everybody comes over and it's a kind of a place to socialize at times? I'm not saying that people are over there 24/7, but what do you think allows y'all to be kind of like a place where a lot of guys on the team can bond?
I think there's 5 of us, one former baseball player, 3 of us currently play football, and we have one of my good buddies lives with us. He recently stopped playing football, but I think just the networking of us, like through the athletes and us, we'd like to have a good time. Enjoy having company over anytime. Like Super Bowl comes around, anything big, Masters. This past weekend, the Players Championship. We always just try to have an open door policy and just anyone come over and hang out. Yeah, always having a good time.
Yeah. And for our listeners, that kid that he was talking about is Luke Matthews, son of Shane. So he's a decent guy. So we like having him around.
Like that kid a lot.
Yeah. Your favorite moment as a Gator so far? I've asked a couple guys this that have been on the show. Heard a couple different things.
Favorite moment as a Gator? Off the top of my head, I'd probably have to go with Auburn freshman year. Them coming in. Place was packed. Place was going crazy. I think it was a 3:30 game. And it ended up pulling that one out. And that one was definitely one I'll never forget.
Yeah. I think...
What about for you?
I think I said the last guy was on here. I can't even remember. I think Riley was talking about the SEC championship, and I thought that was a cool one. Although obviously we didn't come out with the win, but I think especially for y'all fans, I think that from a player's perspective, there's a lot of things we remember. Even if it's a sour memory from the outcome of the game, being in those positions is such a blessing that you're going to remember that the rest of your life.
I think another one that probably isn't my favorite memory because we didn't end up coming out with the win, but Alabama this year was something special. What were we down 21-3 after the first quarter?
Yep.
Coming back and having a chance to win it there at the end. Yeah. But that was definitely something.
Yeah, I remember little stuff like Wax. Tyler Waxman, that's another kid that lives with Kyle. He's a kicker on the team. Him pumping up the crowd, the whole alumni side going crazy. Stuff like that, just stuff you're never gonna forget. Kind of leading into that, let's go best atmosphere other than games in the swamp that you've been a part of, whether it's neutral site game or.
I'd have to say, maybe not best, but the craziest one for me to really believe was A&M my sophomore year. We went out there, and during COVID, not a lot of fans in the stadium, but that place was rocking. For the amount of people that were
I think
there.
They actually got fined. They had too many people in there.
I mean, I just remember turning around, and the whole student section was just going crazy.
Yeah, when they hit the little sway thing, that was dope. I'm not gonna lie.
I can't imagine. I mean, we're going there this year, but I can't imagine what it's gonna be like.
Yeah,
full crowd.
I remember I had just got taken out, and KT went back in. And we actually threw a pick. I think he got called back. We got the ball back. There was some penalty. Yeah. But we threw a pick, and I couldn't hear anything in there.
I was
crazy. It hadn't been like that all year because obviously of COVID. That was probably the only game where I was I literally can't, I would have to yell at the person next to me.
I remember there were some fans there, and I was third string quarterback sitting there.
But you were rocking the headset.
With I had the headset
on. It's kind of gangster. What was? We weren't 3:30 CBS. What were we? I think we were noon.
We were on the noon game that week, but I had the headset on and I was just munching some Rice Krispie treats, and the fans they were heckling me like I was out there.
Yeah, you were about to go spin it.
I was gonna have some sort of impact on the game, but that was definitely something crazy.
You say anything to Mullen on the headset that game, or no?
I did not. I kept my mouth quiet. Tensions were running high that game, so I decided to keep my mouth quiet.
Imagine you're it's 4th and 1, and you're here, let's go.
Go in there with a play call.
Yeah, that would have been hilarious. Well, it's been a pleasure, Kyle.
I appreciate you having me on.
Let's see. Sorry guys, I actually forgot to give y'all a tweet, a heads up on Kyle joining the show. Spring break had me in a bit of a daze, but just as a reminder, give me a follow on Twitter, and I will try to get out next week's interviewee. You can send questions via text at 352-353-7465. That is your Titan MRI text line. So if y'all are interested, give me a follow, and let's keep this thing going. So till next time, appreciate y'all.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, won't back down. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Great Clips, it's gonna be great. Our Gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, South State Bank, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co. Some of our touchdown sponsors are MB Listing, McDonald's of Gainesville, My IT Masters, Gainesville Neon and Signs, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Avra and Smith, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Ruse Ogra Agent, State Farm Insurance, Silver Cube Billiards and Sports Bar. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit potupwithshane.com and click the Advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure you follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. At South State Bank, we understand that small businesses need a community business partner they can rely on. South State has 4 convenient Alachua County locations. South State Bank, banking forward, member FDIC. I want to thank JC, Trent Whittemore, and Kyle Engel for joining us on the Titan MR hotline. Hope you enjoyed that. I think Trent's enjoying it as well. Don't forget, before noon tomorrow, make sure you go to the bracket challenge, fill that out. Get your friends and family to do it. We'll get you some good prizes to give away. I'll announce those either tomorrow or Friday. Hope you enjoyed today's program. Have a great week, and we will see you tomorrow.